Let me ask you this. When was the last time you broke down in tears, so quietly that no one in the world knew what you were enduring? When was the last time your heart was shattered, screaming for an answer, only to be met with an empty void? Every morning you open your eyes, carrying a shattered soul, plunging into exhausting battles that no one cares about. You bear a pain so crushing it feels as if it might destroy you, yet no hand reaches out to help. You drag yourself through life, like a silent shadow ignored by the world, amidst people rushing past, none of them stopping to see who you truly are. And here's the bitter truth you need to face. No one cares about you, at least not in the way you think they should. But don't let that defeat you. Don't let the indifference of the world turn you into nothingness. As Marcus Aurelius once said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Stoicism doesn't teach you to resent others for their lack of concern. It helps you understand that you don't need it. The world owes you nothing. It wasn't created to comfort or guide you through hardships. On this journey, I want to introduce you to 12 core lessons of Stoic philosophy, lessons that will help you find strength in solitude, peace amidst chaos, and pride in knowing that you don't need anyone else to validate your worth but yourself. Let's dive in and watch until the end, because freedom lies right in front of you. 1. Breaking free from one-sided relationships. Life often brings us relationships where we invest our wholehearted dedication and expectations, only to be met with silence or indifference from the other side. A one-sided relationship, whether it be friendship, love, or family, not only leaves us feeling hurt, but also dims our true sense of self-worth. However, Stoic philosophy reminds us that freedom and inner peace do not lie in seeking recognition from others, but in finding value within ourselves. Epictetus once said, "Man is disturbed not by things, but by the views he takes of them." It is our perception and response to relationships that determine our happiness, not the actions or inactions of others. Imagine being in a situation where your opinions are ignored or dismissed. At first, frustration and resentment might swell within you, but then you realize your value is not determined by recognition from colleagues. You choose to remain silently composed, maintaining an air of calm and self-respect. This attitude not only diffuses the tension, but also compels others to reassess your presence. In this context, silence is not a weakness, but a declaration of inner strength. Letting go of the need for validation does not mean isolating yourself or rejecting help from others. Instead, it is an affirmation that all the value you need already resides within you. When you stop seeking acceptance from others, you free yourself from dependence. You begin to live for yourself, prioritize personal goals, and uncover the latent strength that only self-reliance can bring. For instance, consider marathon runners alone on their long journey. They do not need cheers from the crowd or competitors to drive them forward. They rely solely on themselves and their determination. This is the embodiment of self-reliance, steadfastness, resoluteness, and confidence, even in solitude. True freedom is when you are no longer haunted by external opinions or gazes. Instead, you live by your inner values and beliefs, realizing that with yourself alone, you are complete and whole. The phrase, "No one cares about you," is not a judgment, but a reminder. You need no one else but yourself to create happiness. 2. The emotional toll of being always available. From a young age, we are conditioned to measure our worth through compliments, grades, or recognition from parents and teachers. As we grow up, this cycle shifts to social media, Likes, comments, and shares become doses of personal validation. However, these doses only provide temporary comfort, like a shadow you can never quite grasp. Imagine this. You post a photo from your recent trip and receive hundreds of likes. How long does this joy last? A day? A few hours? By your next post, you're anxiously awaiting the same attention. This loop not only erodes your self-esteem, but also transforms you into the version of yourself you believe others want, rather than living authentically. Let's take a closer look at Nikki's story to understand this better. Nikki is someone who is always enthusiastic and dedicated to her friendships. Whenever her group of friends plans an outing or organizes an event, Nikki is the first to agree. She often rearranges her personal schedule, even canceling her own plans, to fit the group's timeline. Nikki believes that by doing so, she'll be more appreciated and become an indispensable friend. But one day, Nikki faced a family crisis. She couldn't join the usual gatherings and hoped her friends would check in on her situation. Yet, no one sent her a message or asked if she was okay. Overwhelmed by a sense of abandonment, Nikki came to a painful realization. She had spent so much time trying to please others, yet wasn't treated the same way in return. From this experience, Nikki learned that seeking validation from others not only drained her, but also caused her to lose herself. This serves as a powerful reminder that our value should not depend on pleasing others. Learning to prioritize herself helped Nikki regain balance and strengthened her ability to build meaningful relationships. Nikki's story teaches us that instead of handing over control of our happiness to others, we should focus on living true to our inherent values. Your worth doesn't need to be validated by a like, a compliment, or anyone's approval. It has always existed within you, reflected in the values you build through your actions, thoughts, and unwavering determination. Finally, this brings us to another critical issue: why you deserve more than one-sided relationships. Why do unbalanced relationships leave you emotionally drained? How can you identify and overcome them? Stay tuned as we explore the answers to these questions. 3. Why you deserve more than one-sided relationships. Life is not always filled with joyful parties and laughter. At times, we must face one-sided relationships, the pain of abandonment, or the hurt caused by others. However, from the perspective of Stoic philosophy, these moments are opportunities for us to discover ourselves and cultivate inner strength. Imagine standing before a towering cliff with a deep abyss below. No one is there to pull you up. No helping hand is extended. Yet, you are not abandoned. You are simply facing a challenge to prove your ability to overcome adversity. Your very existence, despite all the hardships, is living proof of the resilience and courage you possess. Pain and abandonment are not the end of the road. On the contrary, they are opportunities for introspection. Viktor Frankl, the renowned psychologist and author of Man's Search for Meaning, was imprisoned in Nazi concentration camps. He lost his entire family and faced death daily. Yet, instead of succumbing to despair, Frankl turned his pain into an opportunity to explore life's meaning. He realized that even when everything is taken away, humans still have the freedom to choose their response to circumstances. It was in his suffering that Frankl discovered his inner strength and an indomitable will to live. Similarly, every time you endure the pain of abandonment, view it as a space for reconstruction. One-sided relationships, where you are the only one putting in effort, are like decaying bridges. When those bridges collapse, you have the chance to build new ones, stronger bridges that lead to people who truly value you. However, transforming suffering into strength does not happen automatically. Accepting pain is the first step, but you need to take action. Discard superficial values, focus on yourself, and have the courage to rise again. Pain, when used correctly, will help you concentrate on what truly matters, yourself and your inherent worth. So, what about you? Have you experienced any pain that helped you grow? What did you do to turn your suffering into a positive force for life? Share your story in the comments. I would love to hear the valuable lessons you've learned. 4. How to stop making yourself available to people who don't care. No man is free who is not master of himself. Epictetus. Have you ever wondered why you often feel drained after spending time with people who don't truly care about you? This isn't just a fleeting feeling. It's a sign that you're investing too much in relationships that don't offer reciprocal value. When you're always available to those who don't care, it not only diminishes your worth in their eyes, but also causes you to lose respect for yourself. Let's analyze the psychology behind this imbalance. People tend to respect what isn't easily accessible. If you constantly say yes to every request and always listen without receiving the same in return, you inadvertently send the message that you don't value your own time and energy. Those who don't appreciate you may exploit this, trapping you in a cycle of one-sided giving. Stoic philosophy encourages us to confront this truth with calmness and reason. What is truly within my control? Marcus Aurelius emphasized that while we cannot control others' actions or thoughts, we can fully control our own reactions. If you continue to let those who don't care to influence your mood and energy, you are surrendering the mastery of your own life. Choosing not to make yourself always available doesn't mean cutting off relationships entirely. It's about building boundaries, a profound act of self-respect. Setting clear limits is a way to remind yourself and others that your time and emotions are valuable. It also creates the opportunity to focus on more deserving relationships where you are appreciated and heard. Consider this real-life example. You have a group of friends who frequently organize weekend gatherings, but they only contact you when they need to fill a spot. Every time, you feel like a temporary substitute rather than a true member of the group. One day, you decide to decline the invitation. Instead, you choose to spend your time reading a favorite book or walking in the park. Initially, you may feel lonely, but gradually, the peace you find in that moment reveals a deeper truth. You deserve more than being a backup option in others' lives. By stepping away from unworthy relationships, you're safeguarding your dignity. Instead of striving to please everyone, devote your time to personal growth and invest in values you believe in. In doing so, you not only discover inner peace, but also build truly meaningful connections. Remember, silence is not weakness. It's a powerful declaration that you deserve to be valued. 5. Attracting the right people into your life. At some point in life, you realize that valuing your time and energy is not just about working efficiently, but also about dedicating them to relationships that truly matter. That's when you begin to focus on your core values and connect with people who bring empathy, support, and shared life goals. Letting go of undeserving relationships is not an act of selfishness, but a step forward in loving and improving yourself. As Marcus Aurelius once said, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." When you stop wasting energy on people who only stay with you for their own gain, you create space for genuine relationships to enter your life. Take Jack's story as an example. Jack, a passionate music lover, was renowned for his creativity and exceptional guitar skills. For a long time, however, Jack felt drained because his friends only reached out when they needed something, from composing music and organizing events to resolving personal issues. One day, Jack decided to focus on people who truly shared his passion for music. He started playing with like-minded friends and gradually built a small community where he felt supported and a true sense of belonging. Stoic philosophy teaches that true loyalty is never conditional on what you can do for others. Relationships based on mutual benefits will crumble when one party no longer sees the value. In contrast, genuine relationships built on respect and understanding provide a solid foundation for personal growth. Letting go of people who don't truly care about you is not a loss. It is a gain of time, energy, and emotions to invest in yourself and the people who truly matter. Remember, your worth doesn't lie in the number of people around you, but in the quality of the relationships you build. Deep connections, founded on sincerity, are what matter most. What about you? What do you think about focusing on meaningful relationships in life? Share your thoughts in the comments below. 6. Taking control of your relationships. When it comes to relationships, the first question you should ask yourself is, why am I attached to this person? Is it out of fear of losing them? Or do I genuinely care and wish the best for them? Stoic philosophy reminds us that to manage relationships, you must first understand your own motivations and emotions. No one can truly possess another person, and any attempt to control them will only lead to imbalance and suffering. The distinction between attachment and care is fundamental. Attachment often comes with conditions, such as expecting the other person to make you happy or meet your expectations. In contrast, care is unconditional, an act of love that asks for nothing in return. A true friend does not seek to change you, but simply supports you in becoming the best version of yourself. Consider a familiar situation. You have a close friend who is habitually late. If you are attached, you might feel hurt, angry, or even demand that they change to meet your needs. But if you truly care, you will recognize that their lateness is not a criticism of you, but simply a part of who they are. Caring does not mean tolerating everything, but rather accepting them, flaws and all, while finding ways to balance the relationship so both parties feel comfortable. As Epictetus once said, when you are offended at any man's fault, turn to yourself and study your own failings. Then you will forget your anger. Instead of trying to control the other person, reflect on yourself. Does your frustration stem from personal insecurity or unrealistic expectations? Focusing on genuine care brings freedom to both sides. You no longer feel pressured to change the other person or fear losing them. Instead, you will realize that your self-worth does not depend on anyone else. This peace of mind creates an environment where the relationship can grow naturally and sustainably. Before we move on to the next topic, I want to thank you for taking the time to listen and join this journey of exploring Stoic philosophy. If you found value in these reflections, please take a moment to like and subscribe to the channel. Doing so not only helps spread these positive lessons to a wider audience, but also contributes to building a community filled with motivation and meaning. Get ready, because in the next section, we will explore how to build healthy and balanced connections, a vital step in applying Stoicism to everyday life. 7. Building healthy, balanced connections. When we talk about building healthy relationships, the first thing to understand is the difference between caring and attachment. Caring is the foundation of a sincere connection where both parties share and support each other. Attachment, on the other hand, often limits freedom, causing one side to become dependent on the other, leading to imbalance and emotional exhaustion. Have you ever asked yourself whether your relationship is truly healthy or merely one-sided? We often fall into the trap of being always available. You're ready to answer messages and ready to help. But does that mean you're also ready to endure disregard from people who don't invest time or effort equally in you? The result: the relationship becomes a burden. You feel used, your self-worth diminishes, and your self-esteem suffers. The bigger question to ask is, why are you always available for those who are never available for you? Take Anna's story, for instance. She's a talented designer who always gives her all for her work and friends. Anna often helps those around her, from offering professional advice to providing financial support when friends are in trouble. Among them is Laura, who frequently turns to Anna for help with personal issues, but rarely shows up when Anna needs comfort. Once, when Anna went through a tough time after a major project failure, Laura was completely absent. After feeling drained and unreciprocated countless times, Anna realized the unfairness of this relationship. She decided to set clear boundaries, focusing on friends who genuinely supported and valued her. As a result, Anna not only regained balance, but also fostered relationships that brought her joy and genuine support. Do you find yourself in a similar situation? People who always turn to you when they need help, but disappear when you need them. If you continue to maintain such relationships, you not only harm your self-esteem, but also enable others to take you for granted. The answer lies in learning to set healthy boundaries. Setting boundaries doesn't mean cutting people out of your life, but prioritizing those who truly deserve your time and energy. This is a critical step to protecting your mental health, self-worth, and creating space for relationships that bring joy and mutual support. Valuable relationships never make you feel exploited. They help you feel balanced and understood. Ask yourself, who truly deserves a place in your life? Are you brave enough to say no to love yourself and find inner peace? These answers are the foundation for building healthy, balanced, and meaningful connections. 8. The power of emotional detachment. No one cares about you. At first glance, this may sound harsh, but in recognizing this truth, we discover an inner strength, the power to detach emotionally, take control of ourselves, and build lasting relationships. When we talk about loyalty, we often think of it as an inherent part of any relationship. But the truth is, loyalty is not something you can demand. It must be nurtured over time through mutual trust and respect. Those who are truly loyal will stand by you, not because circumstances are favorable, but because they share your values and principles. However, it's important to let go of expectations of loyalty from those who don't deserve it. Imagine always expecting support from someone who only shows up when they need something from you. Repeated disappointment not only hurts you, but also wastes your valuable time and energy. Once you realize that not everyone is worthy of your trust, you'll gain the courage to focus your energy on more genuine relationships. We often confuse attachment with care. Attachment stems from personal needs. It demands and expects reciprocation. In contrast, care is an unconditional act born of compassion and freedom. Consider the story of Taylor Swift, one of the biggest stars in the world. Throughout her career, she has experienced the breakdown of many friendships and professional partnerships. Instead of clinging to toxic relationships, Taylor chose to let go of what no longer served her and invested her time in building connections with those who truly valued her. That's why she not only has a successful career, but also meaningful relationships in her personal life. Emotional detachment doesn't mean abandoning emotions, it means mastering them. When you understand the difference between attachment and care, you not only find inner freedom, but also build more genuine relationships. Remember, letting go of expectations doesn't mean you don't care. It means you choose to care about those who truly deserve it. Have you ever wondered why, at times, you feel empty even when surrounded by people who love you? Perhaps the answer doesn't lie in the outside world, but in how you perceive yourself. In the next section, we'll explore how self-love and recognizing your own worth can become an endless source of strength, helping you overcome life's greatest challenges. Stay tuned. 9. Embracing self-love and self-worth. Loyalty is a noble value, but in the real world, it is often distorted by selfishness and personal agendas. Many people confuse loyalty with convenience. They stay when everything is smooth, but leave the moment you face difficulties. A true friend doesn't just show up in joyful moments, but stands by you during the harshest times of life. As Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be one." True loyalty is not just empty words. It must be demonstrated through actions and dedication. Take, for example, the story of J.K. Rowling, the author of Harry Potter. Before achieving fame, Rowling went through many tough years, living on welfare, being a single mother, and facing rejection after rejection from publishers. During that time, many friends she had trusted abandoned her, thinking she could offer them no benefit. But it was the sincere friends, those who supported her without expecting anything in return, who helped her persevere. They didn't stay because of her potential success, but because of their genuine connection with her. These relationships are the true testament to loyalty, unwavering in the face of difficulty or failure. We often fall into the trap of disappointment when we place our expectations on people who are not truly loyal to us. But Stoic philosophy teaches us to accept the truth that not everyone will be loyal, and that is not your fault. Focus on building relationships based on mutual respect and support. Pay attention to actions rather than words. Those who truly care about you will prove it through small yet meaningful ways. Don't waste time investing in unhealthy relationships. When you show respect and love for yourself, you will realize that you deserve more sincere relationships. As Epictetus taught, the key is to keep company only with people who uplift you, whose presence calls forth your best. Have you ever experienced a situation where someone's loyalty was put to the test? Share your story in the comments, and let's explore valuable lessons about the true worth of loyalty together. 10. How to set boundaries and protect your energy. In a world full of judgment, criticism, and expectations from others, becoming aware of and protecting our self-worth has never been more important. We often tend to seek external validation, hoping that friends, family, or colleagues will confirm our success and our existence. However, this can cause us to lose sight of who we are, diminishing our self-confidence and dignity. The truth that Stoicism brings is that your value is inherent and does not depend on any external recognition. Imagine, for a moment, that you are standing in front of a crowd, at a meeting, or in a tense conversation, with all eyes focused on you. You might fear being judged, rejected, or even ignored. However, stop for a second and think about this. You don't need to prove your worth through the looks or words of others. Your value is an internal fact that no one can change. You don't need anyone's approval to feel important. An example of this could be in a workshop or a gathering of friends. You might feel pressure to fit in, or please others. But if you know that your value doesn't change regardless of whether someone agrees with you or not, you will no longer feel anxious. I once had a friend who was always worried about being left out if she didn't keep up with the pace of life of those around her. But then she realized that when she started asserting herself and setting boundaries with those who didn't respect her values, she found peace. She no longer needed to please everyone to feel valuable. The Stoic philosophy of Marcus Aurelius states, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." It is your thoughts that determine the peace of your soul and prevent you from being affected by what others think or judge. Defining and protecting your self-worth allows you to live more freely, no longer dependent on the approval of others. And then, by learning not to need external recognition, you will gradually experience true freedom. No longer worried about what others think of you, you will live true to yourself, and nothing can shake this confidence. 11. Understanding attachment versus care. Sometimes life makes us feel like we're living in a cold world, where people seem indifferent to our emotions and needs. But in reality, this is not true. Others do not lack care, they simply cannot care in the way we expect. This is the difference between attachment and care, which Stoicism teaches us to understand clearly. Attachment is often expressed through expectations that others must meet our needs and emotions. We desire recognition, support, or even empathy from others to feel valued. However, when these expectations are not met, we easily fall into feelings of disappointment and deprivation. It is important to realize that even without the care we expect, our value is not diminished. We cannot allow ourselves to be bound by the recognition of others, as this is just a cycle of dependency and insecurity. Instead, Stoicism teaches us that taking responsibility for our own happiness is the only way to achieve peace and freedom. When you no longer rely on others to validate your worth, you will be able to build your life the way you want, based on your own inner strength. You may not receive praise or support from anyone, but you still have everything you need to survive and grow within yourself. A typical example is the story of Amanda, a young fashion designer from a small town in the United States. Before achieving success, Amanda had to endure a series of failures and rejections from employers in the industry. She once worked in a small fashion store, and no one believed in her talent. Instead of waiting for recognition from others, Amanda decided to carve her own path and start her own design brand. Although no one paid attention to her first collections, Amanda persisted and continued to create. Eventually, thanks to her self-belief and patience, her brand became a prominent name in the global fashion industry. Amanda's story is proof of the power of self-reliance and resilience. By maintaining self-reliance, you not only learn how to stand strong after each failure, but you also realize that self-reliance does not mean isolation. You can still open up to help from others, but more importantly, you must be the one to maintain your own strength and foundation. Life is not always easy, but if you persist and do not let feelings of being abandoned affect your decisions, you will feel freer and more confident than ever before. Even on difficult days, maintaining self-reliance and focusing on small but important actions will still bring you closer to your goals. Every step, even if no one notices, is a step closer to true independence and freedom. So, when you feel overlooked or unappreciated, remember that your value does not decrease because others don't see it. And in the next section, we will explore recognizing toxic patterns in your life to better understand the factors that might make you dependent on others and how to break free from these toxic patterns. 12. recognizing toxic patterns in your life. Life is full of patterns and habits that we are not even aware of, yet they can destroy our spirit and sense of self-worth. One of the most harmful patterns is the endless exhaustion of seeking validation from others. We dive into a race for attention, compliments, or external recognition, but we can never find lasting satisfaction. It's like trying to fill a bucket with holes. No matter how much you pour in, it will always leak out, and you'll always feel lacking. When we allow our self-worth to be influenced by external validation, we forget an important truth. No one can determine your worth because they do not truly understand you. People only see the surface of you, a smile, an image, but they don't know your deepest dreams, your anxieties, or your heart aching from difficulties. External validation is just a fragment of a complete picture that you are the only one who can create. When you stop seeking validation, you begin to recognize your true worth, free from the opinions of others. Affirming your self-worth is a difficult process. It is not something that can be achieved overnight. You will have to learn to let go of the need for acceptance from those around you. You need to build self-confidence, not based on compliments or approval from others, but from within yourself. A real-life example can be found in the story of Emily, a creative employee in a large company. She always felt exhausted from constantly seeking recognition from her colleagues and boss. After completing each project, Emily could not feel satisfied until she received praise. But it was never enough, and she always felt empty. Until one day, after an important meeting, when her boss did not give any praise for the effort she had put in, Emily decided to make a change. She began to take pride in her work without needing recognition from others. She learned to evaluate her achievements based on her own standards and realized that true confidence comes from accepting and respecting herself. Although no one can avoid the pain of rejection or the joy of receiving compliments, what is important is that you do not let these emotions define your worth. True freedom comes from not letting external factors control your feelings, but instead from managing and cherishing your own self-respect. When you learn to reject validation from others, you will find infinite strength in that freedom. The key to building self-esteem and inner strength is recognizing that your value does not lie in the hands of anyone else. Affirm yourself, celebrate your achievements, big or small, and forgive yourself when you make mistakes. From there, you will find true strength in your life. So, through the insights on Stoic philosophy, we've explored an important truth together. No one cares about you as much as you think. This is not a negative message, but a reminder for us to learn how to live independently, resiliently, and focus on ourselves rather than waiting for validation from others. Silence and emotional control are powerful tools for protecting our dignity and self-esteem. When we realize that inner peace is the most important thing, everything around us will no longer have the power to affect us. So, what do you think about this silent perspective? Do you think it can help you control your emotions in stressful situations? Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next videos. See you in the next video.